Welcome to Disciple Parenting. I'm Ben Martin, and this channel, we talk about how to raise children and bring them into a lifelong relationship with Jesus Christ. So, today, I want to talk to you about healthy relationships. I mean, if we think about all of the things that we want for our kids, if we think about how we want them to have good finances, if we think about how we want them to have that good relationship with God and the church, all those things we think about, one of the things that is right at the top is we want our kids to grow up with healthy relationships. But let's be honest, that's easier said than done. Because how many of us are struggling with healthy relationships ourselves? How do we pass on to our kids that one elusive thing that we too find ourselves struggling with? So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to raise children who have healthy relationships. Let's get into it. Now, when it comes to relationships, they work differently than pretty much anything else in life. I mean, the way we even learn relationships is different. You don't learn relationships by reading a manual, by a book like, hey, here's a book on relationships, and then now you've got it all sorted out. No, we don't learn relationships that way. In fact, we learn relationships by watching the relationships around us, which is kind of one of those things that's a blessing and a curse. Because that means that, well, to be honest, we probably learned our relationships from our parents. If you think about it, that was the first real relationship you had in life. Before your relationships even with your siblings or with God, you learned what relationships look like by your interaction with your parents. And if that was healthy and beautiful and perfect, that's great. It sets you up for success. You know what a healthy relationship looks like and feels like, and you know how to live that out with others in your life. But unfortunately, if we're honest with ourselves, that's not always real. Which one of us came from perfect homes? Unfortunately, none of us. We come from broken families made up of broken people. And because of that, we have learned broken relationships. We've learned unhealthy relationships. In fact, in some research done by psychology, they've established there are 4 different kinds of attachment styles or relationship styles. The first one is secure attachment. And in a secure attachment relationship, you know how to regulate your feelings. You know you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you feel loved. But that's what we're talking about when we talk about healthy relationship. There's also the anxious-ambivalent attachment style. And this one comes with a fear of abandonment. Because there's that fear of abandonment, there's also this feeling of anxiety, especially around conflict, and it causes one to be hypercritical of oneself while putting others up on a pedestal. And it creates unhealthy dynamics in relationships when there seems to be this imbalance and this fear of any confrontation and a complete lack of safety. The avoidant attachment style, which is the next attachment style, is one step further beyond that. In this attachment style, what you have is a desire to push others away, to be more self-reliant and rely more on self. It wants to keep other people at a distance and doesn't allow other people in, which also, of course, makes for really unhealthy relationships where others aren't fully allowed in because of that continual fear of rejection. The last attachment theory is disorganized attachment. And this is one which just breaks your heart, because this style, the person seeks relationship. They want relationship with other people, but at the same time, they seem to self-sabotage those relationships. They want people close, but at the same time, they're pushing them away. They see others as scary and they see themselves as broken. And so it's difficult to have healthy relationships when this is where you're approaching life from. And if you'd like to know more about these, the book Try Softer by Andi Kobler, she really lays these out and talks about how we can help heal the broken relationships in our own lives and our own brokenness from relationships. Now, after talking about these attachment styles, after thinking about the relationships in our own lives, we're broken, aren't we? I mean, what chance do we have? We're absolutely doomed. We've come from broken relationships and we're creating broken relationships. The broken families that we grew up in seem to be living out their lives in our own broken families. So what hope do we have? Well, I want you to get the good news here. The good news is we can heal. We can be resilient. We can take that brokenness and create healthy relationships. How do you do that? Well, first of all, those relationships that started this all, those relationships with our parents, if your relationship with your parent is not healthy, work on that. Work on that. Try to rebuild that relationship. Try to rebuild that trust. The last 2 verses of the Old Testament tell us that end time message, that preparation for the final day, is turning the hearts of children to their father and fathers to their children. It's about repairing those relationships at home. So if you're broken, if you have grown up with broken relationships, if your attachment style isn't what you long for, isn't the one you long to pass on to your kids, start first with your parents. Start rebuilding those relationships. But let's be honest, that's not always a safe thing. Because for relationships to work well, it takes both sides to be committed to a healthy, safe relationship. And not all of us have that at home. And so if you don't feel like that is a safe place, that's okay. All it takes to shift that paradigm, to create healthy attachment styles, is to have one healthy, safe relationship. One relationship where you know no matter what, that person is going to be there for you. One relationship where you can be completely and totally yourself and not worry about judgment, not worry about abandonment, not worry about being left. That one relationship can change your life. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a significant other, a spouse. But if for some reason your relationships are so broken you can't find that in any of those places, I invite you, turn to God. The God of the universe longs to have that relationship with you. The God of the universe has made it clear from the very beginning of time, all the way through to the second coming. The entire Bible is letting us know this is a safe relationship. The God of the universe who thought you were worth dying for, the God of the universe who loves you with an everlasting love, the God of the universe who calls you his child. He longs for that relationship with you. He longs for a relationship with you where you will never, ever have to worry. A relationship where he lets you know he knows who you are. He knows how many hairs are on your head. He knows every detail of your life, and he loves you. It's a relationship that it is safe to be yourself because God knows who you are better than you know, and he loves you. It's a safe relationship because you don't have to worry about being left or abandoned, because this same God promises throughout the Bible he will never leave you or forsake you. He is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. This God will journey with you. So, if you're looking for a safe relationship, look no further than the God of the universe. He longs to have a safe and healthy relationship with you, a relationship that can transform every other relationship in your life. Because once you understand what that healthy relationship looks like, you've got something now you can pass on to your kids. If you want to talk about how to give your kids a healthy relationship, the key is having healthy relationships yourself. Start that relationship today. Start your relationship with God and let your kids see what that looks like so they too know how to have healthy, loving relationships. If you've enjoyed this and stuck around this long, I invite you, click that subscribe button. If you want to be notified every time a new video comes out, click that bell notification. But here on this channel, we're going to be talking about how to disciple our kids, how to lead them into a lifelong relationship with Jesus Christ, but also how we as parents can be a part of that journey. We'll see you next time.